how do you spot a Steelers fan in the wild? Is it just sort
Oh,
of like a
oh, it's pretty easy. He's wearing a jersey from the '80s and Timberland boots, and
Timberland
he's
boots?
at a wedding.
And he's the groom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow bleeders out there, welcome back to the Cold Blooded Podcast. That is my co-host Drew Lynch.
And that's my co-host Isaac Allen. Sorry, I messed that up. Okay, but getting to it, who cares? Today we have a very special guest, a fellow comedian, one of my best buddies in the whole wide world, but worst of all, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Vinny Fasline. How are you,
Oh,
Vincent?
wow. Thanks, guys. This is the first podcast I've been on where not only will I not get any followers, but I'll probably get death threats. So this is
That's kind of our
this
What are you
wheelhouse.
is
talking about? Every podcast you do, you lose followers. You know that.
Hold on, I
And by
gotta
the
shut
way,
this off.
if a Colts fan, I would challenge you to find a single Colts fan who's ever submitted a death threat. We're too goddamn nice.
Funny, I was thinking that too because I actually had a Steelers shirt on and I took it off and I go, oh, they're not gonna love this. But then I've actually been to a Colts game with Drew. Everybody's so friendly. They're just walking. Oh,
I
hey, how
know.
are you?
Dude,
Everyone's so nice.
the meanest fans are whatever the opposing team is.
I honestly think I would think there's a nicer fan base than the Colts. Would you say they're just very?
Top five for
Uh,
sure.
What? Who else would it be? Who would be second?
Probably like a team that doesn't matter, like the
Like,
Panthers, or
yeah,
you know
maybe.
what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah,
but
I'm
then
trying
they're
to think.
angry.
Here's the thing: is teams that have been through have been through like a test of trial, like one that's been through a hardship. Those fan bases tend to actually be really nice. Like
Yeah,
the Buffalo Bills were like that was one of the nicest experiences I've had with tailgating. They were just like, they've been through it. And Buffalo fans, I think, were really, really, really nice. Now, I think they get really, really drunk, but that's also,
well, I will say this though, to answer the question, it depends on the team you're playing though too, because Colts fans I think might be the nicest because we're just kind of nice to everyone. But it's like the Bills fans are super nice, but when they play the Patriots, you better believe there's snowballs flying from the stadium trying to hit
yeah,
every
Yeah,
player in the eyeball.
talk
yeah,
You
about
I
know?
agree.
hardships. He's went through some serious
Yeah,
hardships, and
yeah.
they'll still talk some serious shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely the colder cities. It's the colder cities. It's the drinking cities,
yeah.
and the ones that have nothing else but sports.
Yeah,
Well, it's,
yeah. I think to the Colts' detriment, we're too nice. Like we're
yeah.
we're almost too passive in the stadium. It's like there's so if there's a bad call, we're one of the few fan bases that doesn't really boo. We boo our own quarterback before we boo before we boo the refs. We booed our own quarterback like out of town. So it's just
Yeah, I think that like yeah, I would agree with that. We're too nice. But that leads me to Steelers fans here. We got to get
hmm
into this. Well, first of all, Vinny, I
First of all,
want
you
to
didn't
ask.
thank me for taking time on my vacation here to be to
Oh,
do this podcast. I mean, I literally I'm on the beach. I'm enjoying myself. I said, you know what? I know work. I'm not all play and no work. I'm a little bit of both.
are you still
So,
are you still in Jacksonville trying to pick up the terrible towel that the fan messed with?
I lied about the Colts fans being nice. Now that you said that,
No,
now I realize how mean they are. That's
I, listen, it's a deep, it's within us. The darkness is within every Colts fan because we've been through some. I don't think any other franchise has had a quarterback, just a star quarterback, just retire out of the blue. Like that's just like that's the kind of luck that we have. Our whole
uh,
secondary, just every game, every training camp is just all down to second stringers by the time we start week one. Like it's just crazy. But speaking of starting the season, I want to ask you, Vinny, how surprised are you by the Steelers 3-0 start? And if you could say one thing to Mike Tomlin right now, what would you say?
um, Am I surprised? I am very surprised. It's a 3-0 start. I mean, I think everybody's surprised. I knew the defense was going to be incredible. Defense is always great. TJ Watt's insane. You got a bunch of great defensive players, but I think everyone's surprised. The Falcons, I thought were going to be better, but then you got Kirk Cousins coming off injury from last year. But I figured we could get. I mean, our schedule is like it was the hardest in the league. Now it's kind of changing because the Bengals and the Ravens are on some losing streaks here. But we expected to at least win a couple of these games, but I was shocked. And if I were to say anything to Mike Tomlin, I would say, "Hey man, can I get some field tickets?" Hey man, I want to do the celebrity towel twirl, Mike.
Yeah.
All right. I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a D-list celebrity.
This is how desensitized Steelers fans are to like winning. Is that you're just like 3-0 start? Yeah, I mean, why else? I'm surprised.
No, here's the thing.
It happens.
My thing. Okay, so I was Drew already knows this. I was a diehard Steelers fan for a long time. I stopped watching the Steelers for a little bit because getting so frustrated. They were ruining my Sundays. I took it too seriously. And in Pittsburgh, people are insane. Like
I've been
there. They're pissed off for a whole week until the next week. I mean, it's crazy how serious how much they carry it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was getting upset myself and it was ruining my Sundays or making my Sundays. But I was like, I stopped watching it for a little bit. And then I started playing more fantasy football. And then I was like, I miss football. I started watching more Steelers again. Now every morning I'm spending way too much time looking up Steelers news, football news, fantasy news. Yeah. I mean, I just don't want to get my hopes up. I don't know. It's
so they're like so loyal. You guys are such loyal fans. You're just even if you fall out of it, you get back into it. So it's like how do you spot a Steelers fan in the wild? Is it just sort of like a
Oh, it's pretty easy. He's wearing a jersey from the 80s and Timberland boots. and he's at a wedding.
And he's the groom.
Yeah, dude. They dress up. I mean, they let you know they're Steelers fans. They're always wearing Steelers gear. I just like,
do they got the Yinzer going on too?
I was at Disney last weekend, on Sunday when the Steelers played. I didn't get to watch the game. We had Disney tickets for a while, and as I was there, there were Steelers fans there at Disneyland in California, in
terrorizing
jerseys.
the kids,
standing with their kids like fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you see them; they're there. You know, they're there. They waltz around. This is a weird. California is also a weird place. They love the Steelers here. There's a lot. There's a big.
Well, there's just so many transplants. There's like a Eagles bar. There's a Steelers bar.
Yeah.
There's so many of like the big names, the teams, the big like market teams have like bars in LA. Drew and I are like, that's our next goal. We need to start a Colts bar. There's literally zero in LA. Zero.
Yeah, I mean, to talk onto like Vinny's point about how the fan base is so crazy, I kind of like that, at least crazy can be constructive. At least crazy can be vocal enough to get something. Like they have an expectation of winning culture, and week to week they expect to win. It's not even like season to season. I mean, even and here's the thing: week to week they expect to win, and so as a byproduct, they season to season they win. I mean, there's never not a winning season under Mike Tomlin. I mean, when they make the playoffs, the odds of them making the playoffs, even just based off the start. Now their schedule gets much harder after this Sunday, not this Sunday, but after this Sunday it gets much harder. The teams that there's like I think a less than 12% chance that based on a 3-0 start the Steelers don't make the playoffs, and it goes up even higher by the fact that Mike Tomlin's your coach and like. I mean, Vin, you probably know more about Mike Tomlin than either of us do, but considering that the Steelers have only had 3 coaches since the 90s, which is insane. The Colts have had, I think, 16 or 19. So like something insane. Yeah. Yeah. Since the
Yeah.
90s, we've had 16. So the Steelers
What?
have only had 3. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're that like we're like that. That guy that just dates a lot, like that just gets and is like, no, fuck her, she, like too quick to say fuck too quick to say fuck
Yeah.
that person. That's what the
Yeah.
Colts are. The Colts
That's
are like,
funny.
no, you know what I mean? It's like, no, she went out with her friends, fuck her, you know what I mean? You're like, wait, what?
Making
You can't go
mountains
out
out
with
of
friends.
like making mountains out of molehills with little flaws where you're like, you got to let that slide. She's still great.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
this is what I think. Obviously, Tomlin's a great coach. Anytime I talk football, I don't want to sound like I'm some like experienced sports analyst or anything. I mean, I follow a lot
No,
of
dude, this
football.
podcast, you talk your shit, bro. You
I, I,
talk
I, I
all.
follow a lot of football. I love the Steelers, so I know a lot about the Steelers. But here's what I think, and this is, I think a lot of people would agree. I mean, Tomlin's a great coach, and obviously his record shows it. But I also think that quarterbacks win Super Bowls. I mean, like if you look at the history, I mean, look at the Colts. I mean, when Peyton Manning was there, like, I mean, they were in their best form. Tom Brady winning all these Super Bowls, but Roethlisberger helping us out with our Super Bowls, and Terry Bradshaw, and you got Patrick Mahomes. Now they're the dynasty team right now with the Chiefs. It's like I really think you need a sharp quarterback. I also think defenses help win Super Bowls. You can't keep the offense on there forever, but I do think a quarterback has a lot to do with a team. Obviously, the coaching has a lot to do with the
Yeah.
team too.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't get too crazy or my hopes up too much because like until you see Justin Fields unfold, if they even let him, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're going to keep him going if he keeps winning, but um, I mean, they have Russell Wilson there. I don't know what he's going to do. He's
Yeah.
he's much older now. It's like unless you have a quarterback that's like, I think Justin Fields could be great. We talked about this before. I think he's really. I mean, he's really athletic. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. The offense was very timid with him in the beginning. They're starting to let him throw some more. They let him throw last week, but if he,
Well, that's
if
what
he
makes you all dangerous.
plays,
That's what makes you all dangerous is because you started off slow with him. And you guys still jumped to a 3-0 start because the defense is so good. And now the offense is starting to pick up. And that's
yeah,
what makes you guys kind of like underdogs flying under the radar. And you're just sort of, you're scary in that way. But that goes back to, I think, to what Drew was saying. It goes back to coaching. The fact that you guys always get the coaching right. The coaching is what causes those decisions to be made to where it's like, okay, we got to bring Justin along in this certain way. Russell's hurt and Justin's new. We got to bring him along this certain way. The defense, we got that's dialed in. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, all the guys in the back end, like that's all taken care of. So let's bring Justin on slow. Let's not throw too much at him. Whereas it's like, there's certain Colts coaches that would have been like, let's throw the entire playbook at Fields on the, in week 1, and then you guys might be like 1-2 right now. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Uh, Kenny Pickett. I mean, we had a lot of the same players. Offensively, we even had better receivers. We had Deontay Johnson. We didn't like him. We threw him away to the Panthers because we didn't like his attitude. That's the culture of the Steelers. They don't put up with bullshit. If you got too
Mm-hmm.
much attitude, they'll get rid of you. I mean, Antonio
Mm-hmm.
Brown, Le'Veon Bell, some of the best players over the
Mm-hmm.
last whatever 10 years. Um, but they don't love the attitude. They got rid of Deontay Johnson without any weapons for George Pickens, who's still young. So this is another reason I don't get my hopes up too much. It's like even if Justin Fields turns out to be incredible, he's got Pickens to throw to. They really got to figure out another receiver. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, the coaching has a lot to do with it, but man, as a team as a whole, there's so many variables. I mean, as a quarterback, you gotta have a good offensive line. Like I feel bad for these guys. Like I think Bryce Young could be great. You know,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have all the weapons. I mean, Andy Dalton's kind of proven him wrong a little bit, but look at Baker Mayfield, who played for the Browns. The Browns wanted to get rid of him. They didn't think he was the guy. Now they have Deshaun Jackson. Well, I'm sorry, Deshaun
Watson.
Watson for
Yeah.
uh, who they paid $1 bazillion to. And he's not doing anything. Now look at Baker Mayfield, who went to the Tampa Bay. He had the offensive line that Tom Brady built for him. He had the weapons. They got good receivers. There's, now they have good running backs. That even this Bucky guy's turning out to be great. I
Yeah.
think it has a lot to do with
Dude, Justin Herbert's screwed. I mean, they're messing him up by never
yeah,
giving him an O-line. That guy got sacked 5 times on 20 dropbacks this past week. That's a fourth
yeah.
of his dropbacks he got sacked.
Well, the
That's in,
Steelers defense is crazy good. That
yeah,
that
yeah.
I can say. I mean, even Kirk Cousins, they didn't let him play,
No.
because their defense is so good. But I mean, offensively, dude, we scored 3 touchdowns, or how many? Justin, three, 3 touchdowns in the last how many 3 games or whatever. I mean, it's our
Yeah.
defense that was winning
Oh,
the
you're gonna
games.
double it. You'll see. You're gonna double it. Just be patient, my man. The Colts, we like to give.
We like
Oh,
to we
wow.
like to bend we like to bend and break.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you guys are a good team. I mean, I don't. You played the. You lost. You lost
Look,
to. I
our,
mean, you
our
lost to. Go ahead. Sorry.
sorry. I was like, because I was gonna say you're saying that, but it's like our test is gonna be you guys because it's going to be a very inconsistent team, us, versus a super consistent team in you guys, because no matter who's on your roster, there's just a consistency with the Steelers because of the coaching and because of the franchise players that you choose to keep. So it's
Yeah.
like your D line versus our O line, that's going to be a war. That's going to be an
Yeah.
absolute war. It's going to be up to Richardson to try and figure out how to navigate a pocket that might be perfect one play, and then he's got to roll out the next play and figure it out. And like he's going to be, it's going to be, Richardson might be in for a rough day. The only way I think we even come close to beating you guys is leaning on Jonathan Taylor. And you guys have a good run defense. I just think Jonathan Taylor is proving that he has been underutilized the past 2 years, and that he is a generational talent beyond even the likes of Derrick Henry.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, but I mean, sorry, to that point, I just don't know that I just can't put a finger on a flaw with the Steelers defense. I mean, I can barely put one on as a flaw in their offense. I think we don't match up well offensively to defense. Like it is going to be a trenches game. I just think that they shut down J.K. Dobbins this past week, and that was one of the most effective run games in football before last week. I mean, the Steelers just like take what it is that you're good at and defensively just shut it down.
Got to consider
It's
the
truly
opponent.
impressive.
Vinny brought this up earlier. You got to consider the opponent, though. Like Vinny even admitted, he was like, which it's nice, Vinny, that you're a humble Steelers fan. That's a nice change of pace. You're not so terrible with a towel or
Mhm.
not. And
yeah, I don't
but
talk a lot of shit.
yeah,
I don't like getting it back either. And then if I talk shit and they lose, then you're like, fuck.
right. You want to play both sides. You're playing the fence
We
here.
had
You're on the
Akeem on
fence
here
here.
to talk about the Cowboys, and that motherfucker's like, the Cowboys are the motherfucking best fucking team in the world.
Oh, dude, I wish we were playing the
Sit next to
Cowboys,
him.
man. I wish we were playing the Cowboys. We'd have a key mod. It would just be shouting. It'd be like one of those sports shows where they're just shouting over each other the whole time.
Dude. Yeah,
But
I'm not even gonna.
but it's good that like because you mentioned that you guys haven't really played anybody to get to 3-0. Like the teams you played are all have losing records.
Yeah, I think the Falcons were the only ones that I was most worried about in the beginning, because Kirk Cousins is great, and then Kirk Cousins has turned out to be great, but he was also coming off an injury. But yeah, I don't know, man. That we had a lot of big injuries against the Chargers last week. We lost a
Ooh.
lot of play. Even Najee Harris was in a sling all week. We lost one of our best defensive players, Highsmith,
Oh, he's
and
out?
yeah, and they replaced him with this kid Nick Herbert. But Nick has turned out to be
Yeah, he
insanely
was a
good.
rookie. He was a rookie last year, right?
Yeah. So we've had, but we have a couple injuries. Oh shit, who else? We lost a few ones that are. We lost a corner. They actually, I think they just signed another corner too. But um, Yeah, so these injuries aren't helping. Obviously, injuries are like a huge problem, but
Yeah, I think
um,
I'm going to be playing quarterback for the Colts this weekend. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
Is
no one left.
Anthony Richardson's not hurt?
No, no, cornerback.
Oh, you said cornerback. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have no one.
All your corners get hurt, or you just your corners stink?
Every single one's hurt.
Who's not playing?
Juju Brents, Dallas Flowers is hurt. Chris Lamons is hurt, who I didn't even know existed until this past weekend.
Well, you don't have
But
anybody else to cover besides George Pickens, so they're going to put all three of their receivers on George
yeah,
Pickens,
all their
and
corners,
I mean
yeah.
all their corners on George Pickens, and then the rest are just like, all right, just let them.
That'd be so
I
funny. It's funny to
yeah,
see
go ahead.
like three. That'd be so funny to see three defenders just
Just on
shoulder to
George.
shoulder lined up
Yeah,
on Pickens. He's just
I
looking
will
like what?
say, signing another receiver. They want to reach out to Devontae Adams. They want to reach out to who's from the Titans. Who's the receiver
Ridley?
from the no
Uh,
um um
maybe.
begins with a D. Uh,
Uh,
really great receiver
DeAndre
from the
Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. They're talking about
oh,
a couple different. If they can get another receiver,
yeah,
it'll help. But you guys
yeah. It
right
would be
now,
scary.
and if Najee is out for this game, then now you don't have as many offensive weapons to worry about.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I would say that I feel worst the worst about. This is what I'll say. I feel the worst about as far as this matchup on Sunday is you guys have our run defense was prior to last week the worst in the league, and then we shut down the Bears, who basically had no run game because they just don't have a great offensive line. You guys drafted that stud center offensively, who's really helped. He's been like a
And
key piece.
he's out.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yes, that's another major injury I was forgetting about.
Oh,
Our number one draft pick for our O line is injured. Troy Fonta I don't know
yeah,
how to say his last name, but
Fontenot.
yeah.
yeah, he was our number one draft pick for our offensive line,
Dude.
and
Oh, sorry. The way you just said that was like how I know how every person in Pittsburgh refers to every player that they don't know. They're always like Troy
uh,
Fontanati or whatever.
Troy.
Yeah.
How do you? Let me see.
No,
Troy.
but you know what though? That's crazy because
It's not going to even be close. Vinny's going to look it up. It's going to be like Troy Fonz or something like that.
well,
Yeah,
Troy Filch.
well, Fields has had issues in the past with taking snaps under center from a center he's not familiar with. Like he's had lots of
it's
like botched snaps, if I recall correctly, with the Bears particularly.
What's his?
Fautanu, Fautanu, net, Fautanu.
Oh,
He was
Troy
like, oh,
Fautanu.
Fautanu,
Yeah,
Fautanu.
Fautanu. That's it. That's it.
Yep, he
Oh,
is out for the season. Number
really?
one draft
Oh,
pick. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wait,
Is
as of last week?
yeah, we had a lot of injuries. Let me see. Let me look up his
wow.
status. We
Wait,
had a lot of injuries.
as of last week?
I mean that's going to be rough because
Could return for the playoffs.
ooh, so he's like
Yeah, so
IR.
our number one draft pick, who was went straight into the offensive line, who was great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I mean, you never know. Now, yeah, so we'll see. That's why I think Fields will excel because Russell Wilson is not going to run the ball or he's not going to move a lot. He's going to throw better, maybe he doesn't have the long arm like he used to. He might, you know, he might be a little bit more with the IQ. Russell Wilson might have better IQ. Fields at least could pull out of a pocket that might crumble if the offensive line starts to fall.
Well, you know what they say, the best way to deal with a really depleted O-line is run the ball. You got to just run the ball. And I think that the Colts is the perfect team to do that against. The only reason that the Bears couldn't run on us was because A, what Drew said, their O-line sucks, but B, like we stacked the box even on passing downs, we stacked the box because we just have that little run support right now, which is so wild considering we have two of the best linebackers and a front four that's supposed to be incredible and full of depth, but they're good at pass rushing. We found that out, but
Mhm.
it's just inconsistent, man.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, you don't know. Najee Harris didn't practice this week, so you don't even know if he's gonna run. So we'll see. But you had you have a few injuries too, isn't it?
Mhm.
Who's that? I actually have one of your receivers, Josh Downs or whatever. What's his name?
He's
He's
back.
in.
Yeah, he's back
Is
this
he back?
week. Yeah, he's back last week, but the connection between him and AR are just a little bit off right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is Anthony Richardson's security blanket. I think as of last season, he had the most separation from between him and any other defensive back. He had the most separation, so he just gets out in space. We don't necessarily have a star tight end like you guys do. We don't have a star tight end that's really able to convert third downs for us. Josh Downs is that wide receiver for us.
Yeah.
I will say that back to the things that I do not feel good about. We have just a few minutes left, but the things I don't feel good about are the fact that we don't play tight ends well. You guys have a star tight end in Pat
Mm,
Freiermuth. The fact that we didn't play the Falcons well last year, and they had Arthur Smith as their head coach, and he's your guys' offensive coordinator. He brought over
mm.
Cordarrelle Patterson, who is also a back that we just couldn't stop last year, and coupled that with Najee, two big kind of bruisey type backs with some nice Arthur Smith really knows how to like scheme things up nicely and play to the strengths, or rather it's not just he plays to the strengths of his offense, like he plays almost like to the weaknesses of the opposing
Right.
team's defense. Like he does
Right.
both of those things so well. And I just think like the Steelers are still getting disrespected around the league. Even though they're a 3-0, they're a quiet 3-0 a little bit. Even though they have the best defense, they're a little bit like the Seahawks in that there's not a ton of respect coming out from a 3-0. So this to me this could go two ways. This could go where the Colts somehow beat the Steelers and everybody's like, all right, I don't know what to make of the Colts. But I think what's far more likely is that the Steelers come out and make a statement game where it's like they put up some shit offensively and shut things down defensively to where it's like, all right, we really have to start looking at respecting like the Steelers in a whole different way, putting Mike Tomlin in like the coach of the year type talks, and like what are the playoff expectations for the Steelers from such an incredible start.
That's
That's the way I feel.
wow. Uh, I see where you're coming from, man. I kind of disagree, but I see where you're coming from. I feel like that it's high praise for the Steelers. I mean, you're giving high praise to the Steelers. I don't know if an offensive outburst is necessarily in store. I think the Steelers are just going to try and grind us out like they do every team. They're just going to try to, but Vinny, I got some rapid fire questions for you, real quick. All
Okay.
right. So answer as fast as possible. Rapid fire questions. Fields or Wilson?
Fields.
Mike Tomlin or Bill Cowher?
Ooh. Mm.
Rapid
I'm
fire,
gonna
baby.
have to
Come
go.
on.
I'm gonna have to go Cower.
Wow. All right. Najee
I don't
Harris or Jalen Warren?
know. Mm,
Rapid, baby. Come on.
Harris. I don't know. I think I have to go Harris.
And then last one, George Pickens or Deontay Johnson?
Oh, Pickens.
Yeah, I figured you'd say Pickens. Yeah, it's interesting that you said Najee instead of. I think Jalen is better.
I actually I regretted saying Harris. I think Warren is
Yeah, and
probably.
I think Tomlin is
Yeah.
too. Let's do it again, Vinny.
Yeah. I think. Well, the thing with Tomlin versus Cower is, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's tough.
Oh, I was making a joke. They're both really, really, really great. I mean, and Bill Cowher is
No.
an incredible coach.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
What
tough.
about the
Cowboys
I
had
don't
a
bus?
know.
The
Cowboys
bus was
had
with
a
you guys too, right? The Jerome Bettis.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
It's weird. It's also like what coaches were given weapons. Like what coaches? It's easier to coach a team when you have Tom Brady. Like nobody was super stoked on the Tampa Bay's coach. Everyone thought it was Bill Belichick, and you're like, oh, as soon as you pull out Tom Brady from the Patriots, they fucking shit the bed, even with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think like quarterbacks really. Yeah, I don't want to see another Chiefs Super Bowl, man. I'm just
no, nobody does, except for Taylor Swift. But all right, let's go. We're winding down here the last couple minutes. So the last thing, Vinny, score prediction. What do you think? How do you think it's going to go in Indy?
Oof. I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be a tight game.
You think another 13-10 type of thing, or like a 16-10 or some type of shit?
Yeah, it's going to be in the teens to the 20. It's not going to be a high scoring game for either side.
Interesting.
Our defense is too good, and our offense is not great. So
our defense is too good, and our offense is too bad.
Too bad, yeah. So you guys are gonna struggle with a little bit of our, with our rushing, and I mean with our pass rush stuff like that. But yeah, but I don't know how. We'll see what Fields does. I don't know. It's gonna be a tight game, boys. It's gonna be fun.
I think so too. I think if I had to put a score on it, yeah, I'd probably say it's going to be something like 19 to 19-13, something like that. Lots of field goals. I see lots of field goals.
Yeah, I would say something like that.
I think Chris Boswell and Matt Gay are going to be the MVPs of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think takes the win, Isaac?
I want to say Colts, obviously, but I'm going to say the Steelers probably pull it out.
I have a weird, scary feeling that the Colts might even fucking turn it on and just like ream on the Steelers. I kind of feel that way.
I kind of feel that way too, just because I think that if they're smart, they'll just run it 80% of the time with Richardson and Taylor just back and forth, so you never know who it's going to be. The O-line is good, so they'll do that to negate your pass rush. That's the only way we win, I think.
I'm scared they're going to like fucking turn it on and really shut the Steelers down.
All right, well, thank you, Vinny. We got 2 seconds.
Oh, really?
No, we don't. We have 2 minutes.
We don't? Oh, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was trying to
that's all right. I want that to be the end of the episode. Is him to say, thank you, Vinny. We got 2 seconds, and then us both going, no, you got 2 minutes, and then it cuts.
I would like to issue a formal apology to all of our fans.
My plane is taking off, and I'm actually going to land back at home. Hold on. I'm back at home. Hold on, I'm almost at home.
That's a weird plane.
I'm here at home. This fucking filter.
This is a Steelers fan trying to use technology that's not made of steel.
I tried to make a bit with my background, but it didn't work. Let's see. Virtual background. Here.
Just another fucking Yinzer.
Lands at home. I'm back at home, guys.
Stupid.
Look at it. You see why I went on vacation, dude?
Now I hope the Colts win just because of this.
Oh, dude,
just because of this.
A failed bit for the last 2 minutes is just the best.
I feel he just does this. It's still the beach.
Like, hey, I'm going to the 49ers game, guys.
Stupid.
Stupid. You guys are the best. Thanks for having me on, boys.
I failed. Thanks, Vinny failed at a bit. I failed at the leaving. You failed at the bit. Drew, is there anything you want to fail on?
Dude, I've been failing all week, bro. It's been a tough week. I love you guys. Thanks
love
a lot,
you guys. Good luck.
Thanks for having on, Vinny. You're the best, dude.
All right, boys. Love you.